Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Go video. In this video, we're going to be going over what went wrong with Feebas Day and how a simple change could have fixed the entire event. Before we go ahead and get started though, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. And if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing if you want to see more Pokemon Go content like this. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So right away, I want to go over that there were so many complaints regarding Feebas Day, guys. I mean, I'm sure you've seen them all over social media by now. I've had a lot of people kind of ask me what I thought about Feebas Day, and I just want to start off by saying that I unfortunately did not get to participate in Feebas Day. I had to take a writing exam, and unfortunately they made us stay all the way through until it was over, even if we did finish early, so I was not able to participate. And on the flip side, I actually had a lot of people tell me that the event wasn't that great and I didn't miss out on too much. So while that did actually make me feel better considering that I did miss out on the event, I did kind of want to dive into what exactly went wrong with it, right? Because I know for some players, they were saying like, oh, you got to manage your expectations, you know, not everyone's going to get a shiny. Other players are kind of like, no, it wasn't even about the shiny Pokemon. It was the fact that the tasks were just ridiculously long and it was a 3-hour time window. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my thoughts on what I think about all this and sort of how Niantic could have actually implemented a solid solution or just changed the event slightly to make it so it was actually going to fit this type of style. Which, again, I want to say that this kind of event is definitely something that we have not experienced in the past. It is a new type of event. It's not so much like Community Day, whereas Community Day is more catch-based. This is actually more task-based, and given that the tasks were so long, I don't think a 3-hour window was necessarily the right solution, but again, we're going to go ahead and dive into that right now. Let's go ahead and start off with the tasks, right? So you had a couple of different tasks. You had a distance-based task that was based on buddy distance, right? So get one candy with the buddy, and then you had a hatch and egg task. Now, normally these tasks aren't too bad, right? Given that you do have enough time to do them, but under a 3-hour time window, it doesn't make too much sense to actually implement these tasks, especially because GPS does not register right away, right? It takes a couple of minutes for it to update, and so in a 3-hour time window, it's really hard to maximize your efficiency if you're just waiting for GPS to update. And so those tasks specifically, I definitely understand why people had a problem with them. Of course, you could have the 1 kilometer buddy, you know, and just not even bother with the hatch tasks, but for people who live in a rural area and don't have that many stops, it's like, what are they supposed to do about it, especially if RNG is not on their side and they have to just hatch eggs? It's just kind of a little bit unfair. And then on top of that, you had 2 other tasks that were catch 15 Pokemon with nice throws and catch 10 Pokemon with great throws. Those are pretty time-consuming tasks, and we've actually never seen anything like that in Pokemon Go before. This is the first time we've had such a lengthy task. And to make it a 3-hour time window, I do think that that was kind of a bad move considering the length of all of these tasks. It's not like it was like one was longer than the other, because they all took a decent amount of time. And given that you had to get 10 great throws or 15 nice throws, one solution I think that could have been implemented was a increase in the spawn rate, right? There should have been more spawns going on. I definitely think that would have helped these tasks, at least the catching ones. And then as far as the distance-based tasks, I don't think that was the right move for a 3-hour time window, because those take a long time to complete. You know, you don't know when your distance is going to register or update, and you know, if GPS is not on your side, if the game doesn't want to update your distance, and believe me, trying to hatch my 10-kilometer eggs multiple times, GPS does not update very well. I know Adventure Sync has definitely helped out with that, but there were actually people that were calling it Torture Sync, and I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory why, you know, because you're just waiting, you're trying to get these tasks done, and it's like your GPS doesn't even update, Adventure Sync doesn't even update your distance, so that can be very frustrating. I definitely understand why people were complaining about that. And so a simple solution to this, you know, given that the tasks were pretty lengthy, is to not make it a 3-hour window, but rather make it a weekend event, kind of like how we had December Community Day. And something I forgot to mention is that the shiny rate was actually really low during Feebas Day, and again, this is something that people really complained about. I believe it was 1 out of 75 from what I was able to research, so that is actually comparable to what it was during December Community Day, not during a 3-hour window. And therefore, it's going to take you a long time to get a shiny given these odds, right? They're pretty low. And again, it's nothing wrong with that. I think the shiny odds and kind of how they implement that is fine. I think less shinies could be better too. But making the tasks super lengthy is not the solution to that as well. Because they definitely need to balance themselves out, right? Because if you're going to make the shiny rate low, you got to make the tasks easier to get and you got to make the tasks easier to complete. And on the flip side, it's like if you want to make lengthy tasks, you got to make the shiny rate lower because it needs to be balanced out some way. And I definitely think that's something that Niantic could have easily done through quality control. It's like, it's almost like they don't even play the game before they launch out these events. It's like, if you had a couple trainers go out and, test this out for a couple of hours, they could easily tell you what worked and what doesn't work. It's not too complicated, and I don't think it's going to cost you very much to have that done, especially considering that they're making billions of dollars, and it's like all over the news all the time that they're making so much money. It's like, if you guys are making so much money, you should invest into some quality control, get some people to test out the game before events go live, because this stuff can easily be fixed. I mean, it's not complicated at all. It's very easy to balance stuff out. It's very easy to make it fun and, playable, because this event was definitely far from that. Anyways, though, those are my thoughts right there. To put it in a more simplified version right now, I think what could have worked is just changing it from a 3-hour time window to a weekend event. I mean, you could have kept the shiny rate the same, you could have kept the task length the same, and it would have worked, to be honest, because if you give people enough time to do this, everything works out in the end. You don't have to increase the shiny rate to a ridiculous number like 1 out of 25 like during community day. It doesn't need to be that way, but rather just give people enough time to do the task, give people enough time to go out there and hunt a bit, especially people who live in a rural area. I mean, give them enough time to travel from city to city if they got to. And so I personally think that changing it from a 3-hour time window to a weekend event would have been the easiest and most practical solution for Feebas Day. Of course, though, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, so let me know in the comments section down below. I mean, how did you feel about the event? I know most of you guys are pretty unhappy with it, didn't go too well for you, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys think could be a working solution to another event like this in the future, because I do think that this was sort of a test, and I definitely think that quality control could have gone a long way, and it's something that I think people just overlook every single event, is that Niantic never learns. It's like, you have people who are saying that Niantic needs to see this, right? They need to get the feedback to improve their system, but the problem is that they never listen to the feedback. People are saying, do you guys even test your events before you go live with them? Obviously they don't, and it's like they're not learning from that, and I think that's the biggest problem, is that people are giving them feedback, they're just not listening. It's like, if you had quality control going on where you had a couple of people going out and testing the event before it went live, and then coming back with feedback to be like, no, the tasks are too long for a 3-hour time window, or like, maybe we should make this a weekend event if we want to make this a low shiny rate and give them lengthier tasks, that would have been fine. And I think anybody who plays this game regularly could have figured that out. And so I do think at the end of the day, regardless how much feedback we are giving to Niantic, it's just like they're not listening to us, you know what I mean? Because I know for a fact most of the people who work at Niantic who actually play the game do not play it that hardcore. And I think that's a big problem, is because you need to have people who actually play this game on a regular basis, people who go out for every single community day and try to maximize their results. You need people like that doing the quality control work at Niantic. I mean, if we had a small team like that, it would make everything so much better, because they would understand. They would be able to give them feedback that was actually really, really good, rather than like a casual player who's trying to give them feedback like, yeah, I didn't get a shiny during this event. I mean, like, that sucks, but that's not like what we kind of need here. It goes way further than that. It's not just about not getting the shiny. It's the fact that the tasks were too long. It was not fit for a 3-hour time window. That's what really needs to be conveyed to Niantic, and it's just not getting to them, unfortunately. But once again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Of course, what did you think about Feebas Day? Did you guys end up getting a shiny? What do you think Niantic could have done to improve this event? Do you think it should have been a weekend event rather than a 3-hour time window? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, that is pretty much going to do it for this one. So if you guys did enjoy it, feel free to hit that like button down below. As always, I'd really appreciate it. And if you'd like to see more Pokemon Go content, make sure to hit that subscribe button for future videos. And I will see you all real soon in the next one.